Hi, students. I think we can start the class for today. So, students, let's start with the application first. So, in this case, students, what we have to understand the first thing is we have to do the SWOT analysis for this organization, Leothayre. So, students, don't worry. This is the recent trend in the exam paper, how they test in the examination. It's very much more towards the industry data and very few with the company data. Because students, you observe in this case, you only have, I think, one page. Just observe, students, only one page about the company. Can I quickly get a Y in the chat box if you had observed that in your initial reading, students? The entire exam paper is only having one page for the company. Can I get a Y in the chat box, students? Because in the other case studies, what you have learned, there will be more information with regards to the company. But in this, the information regarding the industry is very higher compared with the company, students. So that is one thing that you have to keep in mind because it's a differentiation in the examination. Now, students, I'll just make a note here. So before I start doing the application, students, I will initially guide you on how the industry system works because that is very, very important for the students in our classroom. So the first thing, students, I'll just write down here, Leothayre. Okay, that is the name of our organization, students. You see, Leothayre. Okay, just for a minute. Yeah, yeah. Okay, now students, it's a satellite company, but before I move on to the satellite company, I just want to give you an idea on how it works out. Now, students, if you observe, there are three types of satellites given in the case study. One is known as, students, the most, I think, the complicated one. It is the geosynchronous. The terminology they use is geosynchronous. Geosynchronous Earth orbit. So EO means Earth orbit, students, because it will be revolving around the Earth, okay? Earth orbits. And students, the distance is 36,000 kilometers. It's a highly complicated one, just for your understanding. Then the second range, we call it as the MEO, that is the medium. The terminology here is medium Earth orbit. Medium Earth orbit. Okay, this is another type of satellite, which will be around 15,000 kilometers. And the other one, students, that is the LEO. Actually, it's the low Earth orbits, which is our business is getting involved. The low business orbits, students, low business orbits. So in that case, students, it's around 500 kilometers to 1000 kilometers. I believe the students are very clear at the moment. Can I get a confirmation from you all in the chat box, students, if you are clear with the three categories, students? Now, you are an accountant here, you are not a scientist, but you have to understand the portfolio ranges also. Now, students, if you observe the market share, this is 3%, this is 12%, and students, this is 85%. That means the low Earth orbit has the highest market share. Students, keep in mind. Now, students, if you observe our business, where are we? We are effectively here. We are effectively where, students? Low Earth orbit. Students, can I quickly get a Y in the chat box, students? We are here. You understand this? We are at the moment situated in this range. We are situated in this range. Okay, just have that point of focus. Just have that point of focus. Now, students, the next thing is, if you want to successfully launch a satellite, you need to have something called a rocket. Because without rockets, can you send satellites? Impossible. Can you send satellites? Impossible. because rocket launching is very, very, very important. And the other one, students, before you launch the rocket, you will be able to manufacture this, the production function. Because if you see, this is in the outer space. So in the outer space, it should have the durability to be able to survive in the outer space. Students, can I quickly get a confirmation from you all in the chat box? So rockets are needed, you produce it, need rockets to launch it, and it goes up. And once it goes up to the sky, then you have the after sales service. What is the after sales service? We call it as ground station. What is that, students? Ground station. Ground station. Ground station. Because you have to give updates what is happening to the satellites, to the market. And then after a certain point of time, there is a risk. There's a risk. This satellite will eventually stop working and it becomes as a space junk. Look at the term, students, space junk. It has a lot of impact towards environment. So I will write it down something called integrated reporting. This is an area which is always tested in the examination. Integrated reporting. Actions what we have to take in order to prevent this space junk. Because every business will eventually have a junk. Waste cannot be controlled. But what do you do with that waste? Do you have a repurposing strategy for that waste? All those things are eventually coming here. Now, students, if you observe, our business has this production function. But the biggest challenge for our company is, do we have rocket launching functions? The answer is no. The answer is no. No, we don't have. We don't have. We don't have. That means we are reliant on a third party. We are reliant on a third party. So students, I'll just give you an idea about exam focus. Exam focus, there will be situation whether do we need to acquire this rocket launching company. Merger and acquisition may come. Whether do we need to acquire a rocket launching company. There will be questions with regards to whether are we going to enhance our satellite portfolio to medium or to the geosynchronous. This can come. And the challenges with regards to ethics, because whatever happens, there is a normal loss, which is the space junk, which cannot be avoided, students. Students, can I quickly get a double Y in the chat box if you understood this process here? Because we don't have the rocket launch, because that is one of the biggest challenge. Because if the rocket launch goes down, we will eventually have a loss and our clients will face a bigger challenge from us. Can I quickly get a confirmation from you all in the chat box, students? Are you understanding the challenges that is faced at the moment? Can I quickly get a double Y in the chat box, students? This video is getting recorded. You can watch it multiple times. But my suggestion is, are you learning what I'm explaining? Alan, are you understanding the structure? Because this is the summary of the entire pre-scene for an accountant. This is the summary for the entire pre-scene for an accountant. Students, again, I'm telling you, using ChatGPT, you can get more and more data about these satellites, but it's waste of time. I'm telling you, be more accounting oriented, finance oriented, management oriented by understanding the basic business functions. Rocket launch, we don't have. We have the production function. We are only catering for the low Earth orbits, which is 85% players are doing in the market. So competition is very high for this range. The competition is very high for this range. Correct, no, students? I believe that everyone got that perspective very clearly. And there is an element of space junk, which is something the students needs to keep in mind, because space junk is something related to the integrated reporting, which may come in the examination. For sure, every time they're testing it. Students, any questions you like to ask, you can ask me. If you're fine with this, can I get a double Y in the chat box, students? Just take it down. If you're fine with this, can I quickly get a double Y in the chat box, students? Because this is a very, very important concept that you have to keep in mind. think one person has commented yes. I think thank you, Sandra. Other students, please take your time. Please take your time. Learn slowly, students. Not a hurry, not a hurry. Any questions you like to ask, please ask, students. Don't feel shy. Abdul, Alan, Rahul, Sandra, anyone can ask any questions you prefer. But this sketch is very, very important. You have to keep this in your study desk. You have to keep this wherever you are getting the visibility, because this is very, very important for you to think in order to apply this concept properly to the situation. Thank you. Thank you, Alan. Thank you, Abdul. Students, the next thing, customers. That is a very, very important thing, because sales is an important factor to be considered. Now, students, you observe this application clearly. Mostly it is going to be B2B, B2B business. We generally saying, if you see who uses this satellite is telecommunications. Correct, no, students? Telecommunication network, they initially use it. Then students, military. This can come in the exam, military. Because students, military may need support, but we don't have that range to go to a geosynchronous, but there can be tenders coming from the government for satellite projects. So military is one more thing. And then students, the next one is cargo operators, cargo, and also students, I can say airline and cruise operators, because they need it, students, just to do the navigation part. Students, then the weather forecast, that is very essential at the moment. Correct, no, students? Weather is important, weather forecast. Now, students, they have also mentioned farmers also need this, and construction companies also need this to understand the situations, because their businesses are highly affected by the weather. So, do you observe here, students? Our clientele is B2B. Our clientele is what, students? B2B. Can I quickly get a confirmation from you all in the chat box, students, if you understood that perspective clearly? Because our clientele is effectively B2B. Thank you, students. Thank you, students. And one more thing, students, can I be very transparent here? You look at our management. What is your understanding of our management? You would have observed our management. What is our understanding of our management? Can I say, students, highly skilled and intellectual team. Highly skilled and intellectual team. Do you agree with me, students? Skilled and intellectual team. This business is not easy for everyone, because you need to have intellectual capital. Without intellectual capital, it is very difficult to operate this business. Correct, no, students? Can I quickly get a double Y from you in the chat box if you understood this structure? Because this structurization is very essential. This structurization will eventually help you to think and analyze the things better. Can I quickly get a double Y from you if you are fine with this, students? Because this is a very good question. This is a very good application coming to the case study. Coming to the case study. And also, students, just for an idea, there is an MSc project developed by universities also. So MSc, so university tie-ups can come in the exam. I'm very serious, students, because in the recent examination, the articles given in the pre-seen material have a very much connectivity. Connectivity is there. You cannot just rewrite the same thing in the exam, but there is a connectivity towards the market structure. There's a connectivity towards the market structure. Students, any questions you like to ask, you can ask me, students. But can I get a clarity from you all, students? Are you clear with this application? Are you all clear with this application, students? The way I structured this, I believe you got what I'm saying, students. Look at the circles. The low Earth orbits is our business. Rockets we don't produce. We are dependent on third party. And students, they have clearly mentioned for rocket launching, the environmental impact is very high. And generally, it cannot be done in countries where political stability is very low. It cannot be done in countries which are developing countries because they do not have the infrastructure also. And when it comes to production, it can be managed, but there can be risk, exchange rate risk with regards to the tariff policies, everything. Students, any questions you like to ask, you can ask me. But are you clear with the first impression of our organizational understanding? I did not complicate you with any science. I did not complicate you with any physics, aeronautics. It is directly business, directly business, directly business. Students, can I go ahead with the SWOT analysis? Yes or no? Can I get a Y in the chat box once you are okay with this? Thank you. Thank you, students. Thank you very much, students. I believe this is giving you a better clarity. Thank you very much, students. Now let's come to the SWOT analysis. Now, SWOT analysis, students, what is the biggest threat we are facing is very, very straightforward. The share price is going down drastically. Students, look at this Leothayre. You observe here, students. I'll just give you a picture here. Do you see here in the beginning of 2020, it is very high. Correct, no, students? I'll just put it somewhere around 22. Okay, the share price. But do you see, students, these dotted lines which I am covering here? Do you see, students, this dotted line which I am covering here? It is eventually what, students? Eventually dropped it, right? It eventually dropped to how much, students? Can I effectively say to $3? Students, is this the major issue at the moment? What do you think? Can I get a Y in the chat box, students? Can I quickly get a Y in the chat box, students, if you felt it? Because the share price has drastically going down, students, drastically going down. And the beta factor in this case is 1.15. That means, students, the industry risk is higher because the industry risk is very, very high, students. The reason behind the industry risk is high is, space combustion. Anything can happen. It can fail. The cost is very, very high. Students, can I quickly get a double Y in the chat box if you understood the share price fall is a very, 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 very critical factor at the moment. Very, very, very critical factor at the moment. Can I get a double Y in the chat box, students? Yes or no? Because there will be definitely questions coming in the examinations where the shareholders will comment upon the price drop. Clear? Can there be legal litigations? We don't know. But can I get a double Y in the chat box if you are fine with this, students? Can I quickly get a double Y in the chat box? So can I write it down, students? The biggest threat we are facing is there is a drop in the market price of the shares. And there is no information with regards to that. Correct? No, students, can I quickly get that perspective there? There is no information with regards to that. I believe the students are getting a clarity with regards to the point of view with regards to why there is no information with regards to that. So I can say maybe market saturation, because students, everyone is producing this LEO, that is lower Earth orbit satellites. So in that case, that's a bigger challenge for us. Can I quickly get a Y in the chat box, students? I believe my voice is audible for the classroom. I believe everything is going well. I hope you are with me. Can I get a double Y in the chat box, students? If you got this threat element, you have the liberty to discuss. You have the liberty to always argue in this class because it's a case study class, students, very interesting class. So you have to get that understanding very, very well. Now, the next thing, students, just to keep it very, very direct and clear. So that is one of the biggest threat also. Now, students, another weakness, I have to be very, very direct here. The company is dependent, on a rocket launching organization. Therefore, there are sensitivity as well. So that is one bigger challenge with regards to that. Now, students, the strength, I'll just give you one of the key strength, which is very, very important, is the company. I'm a little bit confused why this went here. The company has a track record of sending 64 satellites. Students, can I quickly get a Y in the chat book? 64 satellite is a bigger number, students. So they have a good track record already there. And students, this is basics, founded in 2004 and got listed in the stock market, quoted in 2017. Actually, it's a new industry. You have to be very careful. This is a new industry, students. Okay. And they provide something called the complete service. They have the groundwork also, as I discussed in the application. Complete service is there, and which includes the ground stations, as well. That is also one more information that is given. The weakness, I can say, risk register can be more up to date. More what, students? Up to date. Students, can I quickly get a confirmation from you all in the chat box, students? The risk register can be more up to date. The risk register can be more up to date also. The risk register can be more up to date also. Can I quickly get a confirmation from you all in the chat box, students? I believe the risk register looks very basic risk register. They are not covering up the key risk at the moment. It's almost the outdated risk. It can be better. Now, students, the next thing I just wanted to say is that there is something called, students, space junk charter rule by the government. This can come in the exam for sure, students, 100% sure, because I just want to guide you this part. Because again, I'm saying SCS is not a replication of the pre-scene, but you have to understand this is related to the question, students. So can I get a double Y in the chat box, students? That's a threat, actually. The reason behind that is it's a rule where we have to follow up. So it's a very, very important thing. Students, another threat is rocket launch is the biggest threat. Rocket launch affecting the business because we are dependent on someone else. So if they make a issue, there will be a delay to our clients also. So that will be one challenge for us, students. Students, opportunities, as you already know, I'm just going to make it even easier for you all to understand. So I'll write down here MEO, that is medium Earth orbits, or you can go for the GEO, students. You can go for the GEO, which is the geosynchronous Earth orbits. Okay, but I'm saying can, but need investments. Need investment, but need what, students? Investment funds. Need investment funds. Then, students, MSc degree collaboration. MSc degree collaboration. This can take place, students. And students, can I write down here? Our chairman is a university professor, I think. Chairman is university professor. So in that case, students, conflict of interest, ethical issue. Conflict of interest, which we call it as the ethical issues can rise. Ethical issues can rise. Can I quickly get again a Y in the chat box, students, with regards to this perspective? Ethical issues can rise in the examination for your understanding. Thank you. Thank you for that point of view. And slowly, students, if you observe, the other thing is development of nanotechnology. These all are given in the case study. We not need to go for that in detail. And then students, pocket cubes, that is the pocket satellites, they are eventually started. And also students, weather forecast. They can give you weather forecast using our satellites, using the satellites. And students, international expansion, as usual, can come into the picture, international expansion, but there is high level of calculated risk. So can I write it down? Risk is also high. International expansion, the risk is also high, students. Students, this is the basic overall summary of our case study at the moment, but I just summarized the entire process very, very easier for you all. Please take a printout of this, because this will eventually make your life very easy to think in the case study questions what we are going to do. And students, the next thing, just to give you an idea, is our competitor. Now, one thing, students, just to give you a clarity here, you look at our competitor, that is Oberlink. Oberlink Group, they're bigger than us. You see, their volume 2566, and look at our one, 1782, and the share capital 800, and look at their one, it's 1000. So I'll write down here another threat we have. Oberlink, the competitor, has scaling advantage. Has what advantage, students? Scaling advantage, size advantage, students. Students, can I quickly get a double Y in the chat box, students, if you are able to get this perspective clearly, students? Any questions you like to ask, you can ask me, students. But I believe, is it a Lions Pride industry? Good question, Rahul. Lions Pride industry, is this a Lions Pride industry? I don't think so. At the moment, it's more like, I can say, um, a mixture of a Wolfgang and a Wolfgang and a hornet nest. A Wolfgang and a hornet nest. A Wolfgang and a hornet nest, rather than a Lion's Pride. It's a mixture of both. But it's a very good question, because it seems like a Lion's Pride industry. But eventually, when we do the application, we have got the clarity that this low Earth orbits are 85%. So in that case, it's more like a Wolfgang. But can I go with this? Geosynchronous is a Lion's Pride. Are you clear with that, Rahul? Like these guys in this range is a Lion's Pride. Can I get a confirmation from Rahul? And these people in this case, because 85% is this. So in that case, the Lion's Pride is a question of doubt whether can we exercise that option. You can always argue, you can always go for a contrary, opposite of what we discuss. So are you clear with that, students? Can I quickly get a clarity from you all at the moment? Can I get a double Y from you all in the chat box, students? Are you fine with that, students? Any questions you like to ask, you can ask. But if you are fine with that, can I quickly get a double Y in the chat box, students? Any questions you like to ask, you can ask. That if you are fine, you can put a double Y. Thank you, Rahul. Thank you very much. Students, question and answer session. I believe it was a very crispy session, but remember the case studies nowadays are different. Alan, do you feel a huge difference from the earlier case study to now? There's a huge difference, Alan. Do you feel it, Alan? Because the structures have changed a lot, a lot. Because in the earlier, they gave more priority, but in the new case study, they're confusing the students. A student who is doing first time CIMA directly will have a huge confusion, because it is very confusing if you had read the case study before the class. That's what I gave you all time. And I didn't start the class on the day at which the pre-scene released. I want you all to brainstorm. Abdul and Sandra, are you clear with this analysis? This is the most important thing. This is where the investment goes. The investment goes to this. Because look at the circles, which is very, very, very important at the moment. So let's come to the one-to-one discussion. Abdul, any questions for the day? If no question, you can put Y in the chat box. Alan, any questions for the day? If no question, you can put Y in the chat box. Rahul, any questions for the day? No question, you can put Y in the chat box. And Sandra, any questions for the day? Thank you. And students, I wanted to ask one more thing. I'm always there in WhatsApp in our group. If you always have any questions, you can send it to me. I will always reply on time. Thank you very much, students. We will meet up in our next class where we are going to do financial analysis ratio class. All the very best, students. I have the confidence that you all will pass this time. Thank you very much for your valuable time. Meet you on Friday, students, same time. God bless you, students. Thank you very much, students. Take care, students.